bringing you all the beautiful things from the world of Doma Vaquera. I was in Spain 2 weeks ago, arrived in paradise, as you can see. This is Antonio Quinta's stables in Dos Hermanas. Absolutely beautiful, immaculate stables where I go regularly. Every month I try to go there to train and to learn, to enjoy, and to bask in the amazingness. He's got absolutely wonderful stables. Reminds me of my parents' stables in the past, full of wonderful things, all Doma Vaquera. As you can see, he has this logo everywhere. That's the outside arena. Interesting little details like the brooms that are made of olive twigs. When the broom's done, then they just go out back and get some more olive branches. And then they make a new one, and that's how easy that is. You know, it's the typical things like that that make the world of Doma Vaquera so interesting. Like I said, immaculate stables. They're cleaned every morning, made beautiful, swept. Aisles are swept, and then they're made wet with some water just to cool it down because it gets quite hot. So make sure that everything's nice and cool for the horses. Random beautiful horses everywhere. This little guy was waiting to be castrated before he goes out to the countryside so he can be with his peers. That's where a lot of the young horses will be tied up. Here's another one. You know, they'll have to learn how to be tied and just wait for what's to come in terms of training. Here's Antonio Quinta's grandson. All the little kids just ride big horses in Spain. It's amazing, and the horses are so well trained. Watch this. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. Hi. There's Antonio doing a parada raya. Those are the boys. Little guys, Antonito and Jorge. Antonito, the one in the front beside me, is Antonio's grandson, and we usually go for a little paseo, a little walk. They take me along. Last time we got lost. This time I said, "You know where you're going, right?" And they said, "Yeah, we know." And then Antonito, he likes to go for a canter here and there. For Jorge on the gray horse, he was a bit afraid. There's an olive tree. Random pictures of amazing little details like olives on the trees. When we got back, then the horses got to have a drink at the water trough. That's my half Hanoverian, I don't know if I say that right, mare in the Tres Sangres that Antonito was riding. Lunging Spanish style is another one of those interesting details in Spain. So before you ride, you I think I'm talking here as well. It's something I posted on Facebook. Before you ride, you lunge the horses. So then they always tell me, okay, if you're going to ride that one, make sure you lunge them until she sweats. So this was the part Hanover mare. I forgot to tie up my stirrups here. I got in trouble for that because then they'll hit the elbows. And they're just a big thing of metal. So luckily my legs aren't so long, so they're kind of short anyway. But you'll notice it's a totally different way of lunging than what I'm used to. They're used to just going to the edge of the circle and they'll just run. They'll go. It's kind of hard to slow them down. And here there was a gray guy for sale. It was absolutely gorgeous gray gelding. I wish I had the money to buy him myself. Even though he wasn't that far trained, but had the good basics on him. What we would call a paseo horse as well. They use them for the rocíos. To just go to parades and look beautiful in your Spanish traditional suit. But look how well built he is. He's so gorgeous, nice and short, super muscular. He's absolutely perfectly round, nice muscles. I couldn't find a fault on him. I thought he was absolutely gorgeous. Also a crossbreed. Look at him. Look how pretty his conformation is. It's nice. He has a shorter back. He's kind of square, but I like that. He's nice and short. I would assume he could turn real quick, turn on a dime. There he is again. He's much more beautiful in real life, actually, if you saw him. I posted some pictures on Facebook. He's for sale, so if anybody's interested, just let me know. And the Spanish, I love them. They rock. They're absolutely amazing. This beautiful Andalusian mare just drove up literally down the aisle. And at a certain point, they said, well, how are you going to get out of here? And the guy said, well, it's easy. I'll just turn her right up there. So he walked down the aisle again. And it seemed almost impossible, but he turned her right in the aisleway. And she was so sweet. And here the only thing is she catches her, she caught her blinder on the stall door. But still, she doesn't freak out or anything. She just turns. She was absolutely amazing. She was huge too, by the way. At first I thought she was a gelding or a stallion. But it was a mare, super strong, gorgeous mare. But look how amazing that is. Then I had a lesson with Latino. I totally sucked. It was horrible, everybody. I don't know what was going on. We didn't have a good day, Latino and I. I was wearing spurs. I don't think he liked that very much. Here we are, backing up. Latino's a little bit crooked at the moment. He has a new owner who's not experienced, to say the least. So he's not really gymnasticized as well as he was last year. So when I come, he's kind of, not in his best physical shape or condition. So then it's harder for me to do it. So it was really frustrating because, he can do all the exercises. That's obvious. So when I say, Antonio, at the end of the lesson, he was telling me, you need to coordinate between your hands and your legs. And I thought, well, that's really basic stuff. So I feel stupid. And it's not that I didn't do that because I know how that works. But when I would ask him to do something, whether it be my hands or my legs, he would sometimes ignore me. Like to the right, he won't bend. You'll see that in a minute when he comes around. See, his hindquarters are in, so he's not bending to the right. So I need a lot of right leg to push him over, and I need a little bit of my inside rein to kind of get him to look in the direction I want him to look for the right curvature. But he won't do that. And then I love Antonio. Then he'll say, well, then you're not doing it right. Well, I get that. I mean, if Antonio would get on, he would be amazing, and the horse would do exactly what he wanted. But Antonio has enough strength to make him do that. Here he asked me to do a parada, a stop, and I had to do it more soft because I did a couple of them before, and it was a bit too abrupt. He wanted me to get him more under, but he was just, I obviously wasn't good. I mean, it's never the horse, obviously. It's always the rider. But I just couldn't get him, nice and forward and under and engaged with his hindquarters. And also, it's funny. It's so important to watch yourself ride on video. It accelerates the learning by 3 times at least. Because now when I look at this, I remember Antonio was telling me to, more. He was telling me more rhythm, because you have to do a círculo mayor y menor. It's a larger circle and a smaller circle, but you have to keep it going, keep the rhythm. And it looks so freaking slow. And now I think, oh my God, no freaking wonder he was telling me, more rhythm, go, go, go. Because he said in the campo, you have rhythm in your, it's a working, walk. It's really going, moving, making strides and meters. So now for me it's quite obvious, but that day was just the worst ever that I've ever ridden Latino. I just couldn't get him going, and the more I would push him, the more he would hold back because he didn't like my spurs. I had spurs on that are actually too strong for him. He doesn't need them, but I sometimes need that little bit extra, so I usually try to use Antonio spurs that are not so big, and these are a little bit sharp. And he doesn't like those. So you'll see a lot of a swishing of his tail. When I do flying changes, he kicks, and I'll explain that in a minute. We don't have his tail tied, by the way. I explained that on a picture on Facebook. When it's hot in the summer, there's a lot of flies, so they don't always tie the tails. I mean, obviously that's tradition and everything, and you would do that in the campo, and that's for the reason that you don't want the bulls to attack. Because they react to movement. So that's why the tails are tied or they're docked, But obviously here in the stable, there's no cattle, there's no bulls running around ready to attack us, so you don't have to do that. So we leave the tails loose so they can still swish at the flies and everything. So here again, you have to do an 8. So you have to do your big circle, your smaller circle, and then you have to ride an 8. Here he's asking me to do a paso costado. That's basically a 90 degree, a walk. It's like a half pass, but 90 degrees. Oh no, and here, oh sorry, this is a normal half pass. A zigzag, going the other way. Here again, it's his right hind leg that's quite weak. So here he tends to follow with his hindquarters first. So I have to make sure his shoulders are leading. And then I switch. By the way, I forgot my Pixio at the airport, so that's why we have just my stagnated, camera. Or it's actually just my phone taking the video, so no zoom in. Next time I will not forget my Pixio, because thank God I got it back from the airport. Here he's asking me to do a pirueta directa, which is a pirouette around the hindquarters. Important here is to keep the horse stepping. So here I need more rhythm, more stepping, keep going. I'm going way too slow. Here's a pirouette around the forehand. Around the hindquarters again the other way. And then you would do a pirouette around the forehand. You want to make sure you don't leave too many steps in between. You do them quite short after each other. So here around the forehand, making sure the horse is hollow on the side you're going. So in this case it was left, and looking to that way. So it's bending around your inside leg. Here it's bending. He should be bending around my right leg, because we're doing it to the right. And he should be looking to the right. His body should be hollow to the right. I messed up here because he said I had to go around and then do another half, so I would end up coming back down the center line. I had some problems understanding as well. At some point, here's the paso costado. So here's where you go 90 degrees to the right, 90 degrees to the left. I had some trouble understanding at one point. You'll see later. I didn't understand. He wanted me to do a counter canter, but because he referenced the diagonal, I thought he wanted me to do a canter pirouette on the diagonal line. So I was totally confused. Here you have to do media vuelta, media pirueta, they call it as well. So that's that 180 around the hindquarters. Going absolutely horrible. I've never done them that bad ever on Latino. No air time. A horse should pick himself up. And I posted something on Facebook with a picture, talking about the purists who say, no, the media vuelta media pirueta should be unexpected. So you have to think of, like, in the field, when you're working in the field, then your horse should be, at a split second should be able to react and just turn around, because if a bull is coming, or a cow, because they're aggressive too, you would have to switch and turn around really quick. So then it's not as beautiful, and you get less air time, but that would be more close to the actual situation. Or you have the more, I guess, say, contemporary enthusiasts, modern enthusiasts, that think it's beautiful when you get a lot of air, so the horse goes much higher and it's more slow motion. I can tell you, Latino can do both, and when it has a lot of air time, it's the most magical, amazing feeling. So I kind of prefer that, but I really understand the purists as well, who basically say, because it's something functional. It was made to be able to turn, quick and get away from, the cattle. Look how crooked Latino is here. I could not get him straight. It was terrible. When he goes to the right, he really has trouble keeping his hindquarters under his mass. So that right hind leg doesn't want to go. And here I'm doing arriar. That's where they accelerate. And Antonio was saying, more. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm already going so fast. And now I look at the video and I think, oh my God, I'm going so freaking slow. It's ridiculous. So, see, now he put his hands up because, I don't know, I did something wrong. Probably wasn't going fast enough. I forget. Oh no, I did a circle. He said a circle. When he says circulo, he means in the corner there. And I did a big circle, a half piece circle. So he was getting a little bit frustrated. But sometimes it's hard. I don't understand it. I need a little bit more time to prepare. When he tells me to do something, I need to know a little bit more ahead of time because otherwise it's hard. So he also told me at the end, you need to prepare the exercises more. And I thought, well, if I knew what I was doing, I would be able to prepare them. But I'm bad at taking lessons. I haven't had that many lessons in my life, to be honest. And when my sister used to teach me, I would always talk back, and at a certain point, she said, "I'm not teaching you anymore." So I try to be a good student and do what he says, but I'm just not used to doing what people tell me to do, I guess. So here's the same as in walk. So you do your círculo mayor y menor. So the bigger circle and the smaller circle, and you do it in 8. So of course you have to do a flying change in the middle. Here I believe he's asked me to do a half pass, and then we do a flying change at the end. Latino will probably kick, or this one you can't quite see. Actually, that one was quite smooth. You'll see Antonio, you'll hear him say, maybe hear that a lot, say suave, suave, smoother, smoother. Here again, that right hind leg he has trouble with, so to this side, he has to put that right hind leg under, so it's a little bit more difficult. There's this flying change, slight kick I think he gave. I'm trying to think. We have to do the every 3 steps the fly. See, he's kicking up. And key here, the difference with English dressage is where you really use your legs. With Doma Vaquera, you use a little bit your legs, but you really use your weight and your hands. So you get the horse to look which way you want, and you really, sit in the direction. And when you sit in the direction, your leg will automatically go back. That's true, but in English they would say just go back. So here I think he's going to ask me to do the counter canter, and I do not understand. I didn't get it. It wasn't registering because I know what the galope trocado is. Antonio says trocao. So here I think, oh, a pirouette on the diagonal. Pirouette, right? No, not a pirouette. Stop, he said. No. So, and this was after already saying it once before, and I still didn't get it. And then I said, oh, the counter canter, trocado, lo siento. I forgot, I didn't understand. I'm sorry. Okay, now I got it. And then he's like, just go, and make sure your horse is looking to the right. So that was funny. So here I go, back in canter, and here I'm gonna cross. He sit on the diagonal. That's why I was a little bit confused. When I think counter canter, I just think, okay, a figure 8. But he sit on the diagonal. So yeah, and you have to make sure. So in this case, your horse is cantering to the right, so he has to be looking to the right, even though you're going on a circle on the left. So it's very important that they look the other way. And then you change leads. I should have done that in the middle, but like I said, things were registering late. So now I'm going to do the counter on the other way. So he's pointing that way. Look to the left, the face, the la cara a la izquierda, the face to the left, Yes. See, we can do a counter canter, actually. We're not, we could do something right that day if we listen. And then we had to change leads again, go back. I got a nice kick from Latino. I should have done it in the middle, I believe. And then he said, center line. And then we had to do a media piroueta, so a media vuelta in canter. Should have been on the center line, but it wasn't. So here again, I believe to the right. They're okay, not really great. They could have been much better. And then I had to change leads and go to the left. You have to change leads. So if you're going on a canter to the left, you can't do a media vuelta to the right. That doesn't work. So if you canter to the left, you have to do your pirouette to the left. If you canter to the right, you have to do it to the right. If you want to do it to the right, but you're going to the left, you have to change your leads. So it's kind of nice to know that before, actually. So here I had done a pirouette. So finally on the diagonal, a pirouette. I had done it once, and it was hard to get him, because here again, that right hind leg, that outside leg, see, he falls in a trot. need to get him going and get him on those hindquarters. It was so difficult. Mind you, I had trained a couple days. Here he's totally crooked. Then we had to do our IR again, our acceleration. I believe maybe again. Yes, we have to do it again, and then I have to turn around. So at the end, so see, I'm thinking I'm going really fast. And what I also do is I put my hand forward, and he's like, "No, not like a cowboy. You keep your hand where it is." So I have to go around, and I didn't understand. I go around, and I have to change leads because then I have to go the other way, back to seat, change leads, and then sprint again. More. No, Mika, you're going so slow. It's ridiculous. I can't even see the acceleration. Which now I understand his frustration. Again. Nice and crooked. There you go. Slow down. Oh, wait, we weren't going that fast. So here again, change leads and go. You'll see later. I have a clip from a competition, and you'll see the difference and how you're supposed to. And then I have to stop. Horrible stop. Absolutely horrible. Technically, you're supposed to. They say parada a raya. You stop on the line. It's kind of hard in this piece to get a good stop. You have to go much faster and really get your horse under you. Then I had to back up. Horrible because Latino, like I said, he's a little bit crooked. So now he's going totally crooked and not listening to my right leg. It was even worse. I did a couple more. Stop. That's a little bit better, but then his one leg kind of hung there. So I was totally disappointed, but we survived. Antonio, like I said I need to coordinate better. I need to prepare better. And I said, or I felt like I totally sucked. Latino's a good horse, though. He always tries his best, and he's super noble, and he does really try to. So we went to a concurso in Umbrete. Now, this is the city. I stopped while we were driving, made a little picture here. It's just on this random lot, basically. Everybody had their cars out, their trailers. Antonio Nunez is from Parada Araya. If you haven't heard of it, make sure you check it out on YouTube, Parada Araya. It's basically about the world of Doma Vaquera. Absolutely amazing. It's all in Spanish, unfortunately. That's why I'm trying to do a little version of that. Here's Jose Manuel Japon. He's actually a friend of Antonio. He was the former champion in 2012, champion of Doma Vaquera. He was making his entrance there. Here's doing the Paso Costado that I showed you with Latino. Doing it very well. This is his horse Bondadoso. He's a Hispano thoroughbred, I believe, Anglo-Hispano. So basically, pura raza española crossed with a thoroughbred. Really, really nice, strong horse. Here's doing a media vuelta, showing you how it's done. Nice here again. So he's here. So see, he's not giving too much time to prepare, and he's turning quick, but still getting enough airtime, but not ridiculously high. Here he's doing some half pass zigzags, flying change, going the other way, super smooth, really nice. And then he goes into a canter pirouette, and then he changes. He's doing his flying changes, and he's doing tempi changes, so every step, but technically you're supposed to do every 2 steps is mandatory, and then some people like to show off, and then they do the tempi, but they didn't go exactly right there, so he does another pirouette, and here he's doing his, he did 2 steps at a certain point, so it wasn't totally flawless, but this is amazing. I mean, consider you do that with one hand, and in dressage there's 2 bits, 4 reins, 2 hands. You're doing the media pirueta, media vuelta, in canter as well. It's all about the obedience of the horse, how the horse reacts. So here he changes leads, and then he does a little acceleration there. backwards, you have to do at least 7 steps backwards. Some will do more again. If your horse goes nice and straight and moves diagonal, and here, shooting off again in canter, backing up. It's all about the obedience and the submission of the horse. That's what we want to see. So even if something is not always executed absolutely correct in terms of placement of feet, etc., but it's also about the execution in terms of response from the horse, etc. And then you have to walk off in a nice walk. Here he stops, salutes. This is a little thoroughbred horse, super cute horse, very fine. Look how little it looks like a colt or something. Or I think it was a mare. Look at her little legs, so pretty. They love to use the thoroughbreds, off the track thoroughbreds, mind you. Antonio has one as well at the stable. But they're not always the easiest horses. They're a little bit complicated in their head. Not always the easiest to ride. Sometimes a little bit tricky in their mouth. Thoroughbreds are used to being held on. If you hold on to them, they go faster. So yeah, sometimes it requires a little bit more retraining. Ooh, nice parada raya. See how he'll look and see if he, drew the lines in the sand. That's what you want to see. Parada raya means stop on the line. And then accelerate again. Ooh, nice stop. You can compare it with the sliding stop. They don't use special shoes or anything, but the ground actually is quite compact. It's not super loose sand. So if you get a good one going, you go okay. This is Jose Ramon Perez, or AKA Chamo. Chamo means buddy or kid, the kid. I guess you could say Jose Manuel the kid, or Jose Ramon the kid. He competes in the championships pretty much every year. He's kind of known for being a really tall guy on small horses. He has these really long legs. So this horse is a little bit bigger. He actually won the competition. So see how long his legs are, and they really have to see they're all the way at the bottom. They wrap around the horse. He did very well. This was actually quite a small competition. It wasn't. There was only a few really good riders, like Jose Manuel you saw first, and then this rider Chamo, and there were a couple others, but not a lot. Rafael Arcos was supposed to be there as well, multiple champion, because Umbrete is actually his hometown, but he wasn't. So Chamo was the one that won. Jose Manuel was that you saw Japón with Bonadoso, the gray horse. He was actually number 2, and I have the whole test here actually. Nice to see how his horse's mosquero goes back and forth. So when your horse is here, he's doing the pirouette around the forehand. See, and then you end up straight, and then you continue on the straight line. Not too many steps, and you do it again. You do the other way. End up straight, continue straight. And now instead of going on to the pirouette around the hindquarters, he's doing a half pass, zigzag, and probably at the end, he'll come back, and then he'll do his pirouette around the hindquarters in walk. He'll go this way, and then he'll probably go back to the center line, I believe. See? Yeah, see, there he is at the center line. Then he'll do his there it is, around the hindquarters. So you have to make sure your horse keeps stepping. It's a super small circle, but your horse does have to keep stepping. So it's not, turning, keeping one leg in one place. There he's doing his costado, so the 90-degree to the right in this case, and then back to the left. Very well. This is a nice horse as well. He's a part Andalusian also. And then you're backwards. I didn't count, but you have to do at least 7 steps backwards. Some will do the whole arena. which is quite interesting, just to show how straight and how obedient. Nice diagonal action, front leg with the diagonal hind leg going at the same time. There he does his media piroueta in walk. He'll do it a little bit higher. So this is kind of, see how he goes quite high and he really prepares for it, you know. Yeah, so he's kind of, you know, there's, like I said, there's two different ways to do it, and it just depends on what you prefer. So here he's doing the círculo mayor y menor, so the bigger circle and then a smaller circle going around, making sure the horse has nice curvature in the circle, and then he changes leads, then he'll do a bigger circle. It's still only 10 meters because it's like half of the piece, and then he'll do a smaller one, which is again like half, like 5 meters or so. See, quite small, but still keeping the rhythm. Here he's going to do the canter. See, so he's doing a canter to the left, but he's moving on a circle to the right. He's going to change leads, and then he's going to do the other way, making sure his horse is looking to the right because he's on a right-handed or a right lead canter. Now he's going to do the zigzag half pass and canter as well. Here the dude was getting in my way. My camera shot. Flying change, half pass again, and then he's going to do his pirouette and canter. See how the hind legs really step. It's different than what you would see in when he's doing his flying changes right away. He's doing his tempi changes, not every 2 steps, but every step, and then at the end he's going to do his pirouette again. So what they want to see, it's different than dressage. So in dressage, you would see both the hind legs would go, you know, two steps. Here it's almost like the hind legs jump, and turn. So it's a quicker, more responsive one. Here he's doing his media piroueta in canter. Ooh, that didn't go very well. That's a shame. Because in that case, I think it's not the nicest execution. I guess I like Bondadoso, the gray horse, better. And there he's doing his parada raya. They like to do several of those. The audience always loves that as well. If you do a good one, and you could notice here with Chamo, everybody was quite forthcoming with their clapping and everything. That's a nice one. Sliding. You know, stopping on the line, creating a track, you know, dragging a track for himself, backing up, and then he's going to go off in canter again, stop, he's going to go back again, he might do it one more time, and then he'll walk off. So you have to show your horse's obedience. So after asking that sprint, that action from your horse can totally relax and just walk off. He's going to do it again. He's going to stop. He's going to back up. And then I think he'll walk off. So showing your horse can remain calm and obedient. And see, then he just walks off. All good. Nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. We're all relaxed and good. Because the horses, you know, they get really fired up after doing those sprints. I know Isolda does. So it's quite difficult, and you know, it does show that obedience and submission from the horse. Now he's going to do his Ariari Templar. He's going to sprint off, and then see, now that's what I was supposed to do, and then change leads, and then you sprint off again. But see the difference where he's really shooting off? They want to see explosion, so they want to see, and then he shoots off like a rocket. Here's going to do a pirouette first, which shows, you know, again, that obedience. Other ways, that's a hard one, doing it from left and then immediately to right, and then shooting off again, and see how fast, and he's done. So, and look at this. This is so amazing. So the top 10 at the end, they all come together. They know who made the cut, because there are around 20 riders, 20, 25 riders, but the top 10 come into the ring. So they all go in and watch, they'll scoot up. But it's just so cool to see how they do that. And then once they're all lined up, here you see, they all just walk up to the front to receive their prizes. It's what a stylish way to do that. And they're just such well-mannered, amazing horses. It's just a real treat to see, even to the last bit. Here they are, all lined up. Like I said, Chamo won. So that was a little snapshot, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it of my trip. I'm going to be back in another week, and stay tuned.